All right, and we can get started. Let me go ahead and kick it off with our slideshow here and our bell. All right. The four-way test is something that binds us all together as Rotarians, no matter where you live in the world. So for our guests, what I'll do is click the button and ask that everybody just unmute their mic and say it along with me. And just to kind of keep the cadence, I'll click to know what to read off. But hopefully you already know the words. Here we go. So the four-way test: of the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth?
Is it the truth?
Is it
fair to all concerned?
Will
it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to
all concerned?
Awesome. That was outstanding. I don't, unfortunately, for some reason, my Zoom, I don't know when I uploaded or updated this computer, I don't see the participants on video anymore. And I don't want to be flustered to do this, but could we just ask, if you're a visitor, could you just unmute and say hello? I'm looking through the names.
Yeah, other than our speaker, Jennifer, she's the only one.
Okay, perfect. And I do see the list. I just don't see anything on camera, but that's good. No problem. And announcements. I'll open it up to the group here. This is not our happy bucks, but just announcements. Anything for the good of the order, anything that we need to know about, anything upcoming that we should hear about?
Well, I have one, if you don't mind.
Please.
All right, so for those of you who might not be familiar with Amazon Smile, when you shop on Amazon, if you use Amazon Smile and you have designated the Rotary Foundation as your place that you want the donation to go to, they will donate a percentage of your purchase to whatever charity you have selected. Mine happens to be Rotary Foundation. And in the first quarter of this year, they donated almost $3,000 to the Rotary Foundation. And in total, they've donated over $74,000 to the Rotary Foundation. Not all of my shopping, but I mean, I shop a lot, but it's not all mine. But the people who have selected Rotary Foundation as their Amazon Smile. Look up I know we all shop on Amazon, you know, as much as we may hate it, we all shop on Amazon. Look up at the top in the banner, you'll see the Amazon, there's like a smile thing. And if you click on that, you can designate a charity.
Very good
Bainbridge Island Football Club.
What, Mike?
I give to the Bainbridge Island Football Club, which employs my son-in-law.
Oh.
Yeah. There's lots of good nonprofits, but thank you for bringing that to our attention. I really appreciate that, and that's something we can all do. Absolutely.
Yes, easy, and it doesn't cost us anything.
Yep. Well, I have one small announcement. It's not a small announcement, I suppose, but I know I'm just checking the list again before I say this, but Jennifer is not on the call today, but this is recorded, so maybe we'll have her watch the recording. But I wanted to say a big thank you. We have a Paul Harris Fellow for this new year in July, starting in July. So I have a pin and the Paul Harris Fellow certificate for Jennifer. So if anybody knows how to get in touch with her, I emailed her already, but by all means, maybe she can watch the video and see the presentation.
Jennifer who? Jennifer V? Jennifer Van Engelsberg?
Jennifer V. Jennifer V.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. No, V as in Van Engelsberg. Van Englenberg.
Oh, that Jennifer. Okay.
Yeah.
I talked to her. I can take care of that for you, Sam.
Perfect. And I think I see one hand up. Is that right?
Yep, that's mine. So
Go ahead,
because I wanted to raise awareness to our calendar. We're doing pretty well with speakers so far. I still have an opening for October 11th. And October, there is a lot of awareness going on that month. So perhaps we can find a topic amongst you that perhaps you know a speaker in. For example, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It is Down Syndrome Awareness Month. It is Dyslexia Awareness Month. And for example, also Italian American Heritage Month. So perhaps somebody knows somewhere along, in any of those genres, thinks, hey, that person might be nice to speak to our club. So that would be nice.
It's
Excellent.
also Vision Loss Awareness Month too.
Yes, well, I have a list. I think there's over 30 items on there. There's a lot going on in October, but yes, specifically if there is somebody who'd like to, tell us something about their specific subject in that month, it'd be great.
Jennifer, do you have a topic? Do you want to come back and talk about that?
I can, or I can find some other people too. I know a few others that do some speaking too, and we could all come on and kind of talk about stuff.
That'd be perfect. That'd be great.
Okay,
Wonderful.
very nice. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll put
so
What date?
October 11th.
October 11th. Perfect.
okay.
Excellent.
Just somebody send me that, message me that, and then I have a good person in mind. Be good.
Okay. I'll
Yeah.
do that, and Jennifer, I'll put you in touch with Denise, because Denise is actually the programs person because she's president-elect, and I
Okay.
handled your contact because I knew you personally or had heard you speak. So,
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
but I'll let Denise handle it from here. But I'll still
Perfect. Thank
be
you.
in the loop. So,
Mhm.
perfect. So we got someone. The board meeting. Sam, you and I were texting back and forth or email. I forget. There's so many connection ways. You had asked about September 1st. I can, yes, do that day. That's like the only day I could do at noon. And we're moving the meetings from 5:30 in the evening to noon, so that Denise, so Jennifer, Denise DeProw, who's on the call, you were just speaking to, is in the Netherlands. We also have someone, Gael, who's in Lyon, France. And who else is a member from several other people from around the country, but we have a few out of country members too. So
Nice.
So now that Denise is on the board, we'll be moving our board meetings to where she can attend and not have to attend at midnight.
So it is September 1st, because I missed that memo.
Well, there's been no memo.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I'll send it out. I'll send
The
it out right
announcement
after
is
this.
now.
Okay, perfect.
I
Thank you.
haven't had
I
time
can
to
do-
even, I haven't had time to reply to Sam about it. There's so many other things going on. So, so we'll do it September 1st at noon. So,
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
And Julie, I see your hand up as well.
Yeah, I have a couple of announcements if you don't
Please.
mind. Number one, it is also in October, our club anniversary, which happens to fall on World Polio Day, the #1 initiative for Rotary. So we should have a speaker on polio as well. And if nobody knows of one, I know of a very good one. She's actually a member of the Sun Tree Rotary Club, so that would be good for October. Also in October is our district conference. So for those of you who would like to come to the Melbourne area, we're actually going to have a district conference in Melbourne at the, it's actually in the Atlantic Satellite Beach, at the Doubletree Hotel down there. So that'll be fun. That is the weekend of October 20th. So it'll be like the 20th, 21st, 22nd. The nice thing about that one is a lot of us that do live locally, we don't have to pay for a hotel room. We can just come and go to the events that we want to go to at will. And then we also, and Sam, I'm not sure you know, Emily Haglund became a Paul Harris in July as well. So
Wonderful. I haven't received it yet,
Go on.
but maybe she's got her address on file.
Well, no, she did it through her dad is a member of the Rockledge Club, and he presented it to her when I installed him as club president. So she's official. It's on the website. She's got it. So that's two. So that's
Awesome.
Mhm.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
So Jula, I don't want to take too much time crossing here with the meeting, but I just noticed that Peter is our speaker for the 27th, and so it's almost October. But I wonder if I just ping Peter, do you think he would be a good person to talk about foundation projects, but also polio? And
Yeah, absolutely. He can wrap
I'll
that
I'll
in.
do that. I'll make
Okay.
sure I ping him on that, because that's a good thing to note that October is polio month.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Perfect.
All right.
And Kimberly, you had another announcement? maybe?
Well, Jula reminded me, has anyone joined a fellowship? Because I promised to make you a Paul Harris if you joined a fellowship. So keep that in mind. I will donate points if you join a fellowship. It doesn't have to be the ITHF, but it has to be a fellowship in Rotary. So keep that in mind.
I will. That's my homework for today, Kimberly. I'll pass on the Paul Harris points, but I will definitely take you up on the fellowship. I'll see. I'm pretty sure the beer fellowship is in my future.
Oh, awesome. Yes. Awesome.
Pickleball. Join pickleball.
All right. Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, Ed, I'm not going to put you on the spot to see if you can give us a demonstration, but I hope you enjoyed your retreat. I hope you enjoyed some new skills and shared some skills. Ed, you were on a Tai Chi, is that right? Tai Chi retreat week before last?
Yeah, the week of, I think it was the 1st through the 6th, it was a week-long Tai Chi retreat up in just in the southwest corner of Rocky Mountain National Park, just outside the park. So,
Wow. Well, I would love to hear more about that. But if you would, Ed, would you mind taking up our Sergeant at Arms?
Sure. It's a little weird. It's good morning for me. Good afternoon for all of you folks. So greetings from beautiful Colorado Springs. Well, I was struggling to come up with any fines, and I think it was Kimberly who mentioned it. So if you do not donate to a nonprofit through Amazon Smile, I guess then you should pay a fine of your choosing for that. I think personally we do Touch a Gray Dog Rescue is the one we donate to. And then let's start out with, let's do sad dollars first. Anybody have any sad dollars?
I have a sad dollar.
Okay.
My cat that still lived with my parents, who was 7 years old, passed away yesterday. I was very sad about that. His name was Mickey. He was a Bengal cat, so he looked like a tiger. He was very, very adventurous, and he loved to go on long walks in the middle of the night. And he got sick very suddenly, and he died in his sleep in the night from Sunday to Monday. So that was very sad. But we gave him a beautiful burial.
Oh, that's sad. He's a beautiful kitty.
Yeah, he was.
That's sorry to hear that. That's too bad.
I am
Anybody
sorry
else?
about that.
Yeah.
I have a sad
Mike?
dollar.
Go ahead.
Can you read that?
Salman
Yes.
Rushdie, the Satanic Verses. Yeah.
I've owned this book for when it came out. I bought it as a protest to support free speech, and I'm so sorry that they finally got to Salman Rushdie, and he's horribly injured, but I think he's going to survive.
Yeah.
But it's a strange world where you get killed or stabbed for writing something somebody disagrees with.
Yeah. I think he's probably gonna miss an eye, and the nerves to his arm were severed. So, well, hopefully he'll recover.
Mm,
Sad.
Yeah.
sad times.
Anybody else?
Ed, I have a sad that I can move to happy with if you want.
Yeah, it's these sad dollars are tough, but go ahead.
Mine's not as tough. I'm just sorry that I haven't been able to be here as much as I'd like to be this year. Hopefully after October, things will settle down a little for me, as they always do that time of year. And I will move into happy with saying I am, as of Sunday morning at 6:38 a.m., I am a great, great aunt, which we already knew I was great.
Even double great. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Great is.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
And I'll do a round it out. I'll do a $2.50 happy and a $2.50 fine for you. For any guest or anybody who don't remember, don't forget your Venmo. You can do your Venmo anytime right there from your phone to do your fines and your happy bucks. But my happy buck, Ed, is we got notice we're going to be closing on my new home on the 22nd. So I'll do a much bigger happy buck once we actually close. But this is the news that we're going to close on the 22nd. I'm real happy about that. So thank you.
Great.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
Is still in the same neighborhood or area, or are you moving up near the rest of us?
No, it's like nine houses down.
Totally new neighborhood.
I have a wagon, a little pull wagon, gardening wagon you could borrow if you need to haul.
Yep, no moving van, just run the dolly, just roll it down the street.
Yep.
Well, you save on paying the moving company by the mile, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not moving to the Northern Palm Beach Club, are you?
No, why would he do that?
No. Not
He's
at all.
president.
Not
He
at all.
can't go anywhere for 2 years.
You sent out the notice of their meeting today. I was surprised.
Yeah, he did before.
Oh, no. I'm glad you brought that up though, Mike. No, I just shared that because they're also on Zoom and they're not at the same time. There's no conflict. So if you wanted to see some of their speakers, sometimes they have some pretty good speakers. And I like to share the information and hopefully they can come and visit us as well.
Thank you.
that'd be great.
And we could always snag their speakers if you see one you like.
I actually just did.
Okay.
Sam, I was
I-
out shopping for your housewarming gift, and this is what I found.
Oh, well, I'm gonna have to. I don't know how to do my video. I can't see the video. I'm so sorry.
Oh, man,
It's the Rotary Club bell.
it's the bell.
Oh, okay.
I'll bring it to you when I get home from England.
Okay, I'll come visit. I'll come visit for sure, and I'll definitely be there for the district conference as well.
Since you can't see, Jennifer Reed's had her hand up, and then
Oh.
Connie had one also.
Yeah, I saw Connie. Jennifer, go ahead. Don't matter.
I just want to have a happy dollar because Jennifer, our guest today, is wearing what appears to be a very beautiful fascinator. And I am all about nice fascinators. So that's my happy dollar for the day.
Yeah.
Well done, Jennifer.
Thank you.
I thought it was some kind of exotic headset. I just couldn't quite tell what it was with the angle. That's beautiful.
I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah, very pretty.
Thank you. Thank
I think
you.
we should have a hat meeting where everyone wears the
Yes.
hat.
I'm going to be wearing hats next week. I have another happy dollar, and that's because I'm going to be going to Saratoga, and I have a horse that's running in
Wow.
Canada's version of the Triple Crown on
Nice.
Sunday. So,
Awesome. I'm
Yeah.
not sure I'm going to make Saratoga. The plans just don't seem to be coming together.
oh man.
Yeah,
I
I'm not gonna make
know.
it. I'm not gonna make it this year either. I can't do it.
Well,
Makes
well, I will go put on a fascinator. So Jennifer we won't be alone. I will put one on for her.
Okay, Connie.
Yeah, I guess I got some happy news. This week I have Cocoa Beach plumbers here with their jackhammers replacing all our pipes. Yay! And then next week, as they finish putting, I guess, attaching the rest of the pipes, the roofers coming out to put on our new roof. Woohoo!
That's hard to spend money on something so expensive and so much not fun.
Well, at least they're at lunch right now, so I'm not hearing the jackhammer.
Well,
Oh, I have to
construction
put-
projects are great when they're done. It's just always the process that's not as much fun.
I just never anticipated how much they were going to have to destroy to do this. I was like, oh, so I am going to have to redo the bathrooms. Okay.
Hmm.
Oh, it's ending.
All right, well, anybody else? I'll just do one real quick. I haven't seen everybody. It's good to see everybody. It's been a while. As Sam said, I spent a week up at a Tai Chi retreat, and then we're here in Colorado Springs for another month and a half. So been doing a lot of hiking and learning to fly fish, and just having a great time. And it's nice to escape the heat and humidity of Florida. It's in the upper 60s right now, and not terribly humid, so it's pretty nice.
I want to learn to fly fish. That sounds really fun and like Zen-like, is it?
Not yet. It's frustrating because
Very frustrating.
last night
Because Zen comes later, yeah.
Susie, I met a guy who owned a fly fishing shop out in Joseph, Oregon, and he would also ride his horse. So he would literally go riding and fly fish from his horse. And I thought that is got to go on my bucket list. So yeah.
It's right up there with shooting arrows at targets from your galloping horse, but I don't
Yes.
know about that one. Polo might be more in my future, but only if I-
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I'd be safe with a bow and arrow riding a horse.
well, the hands keep popping up. Ailish?
Yes, I just, can you hear me?
Yes.
Someone sent me a little joke the other day, which I thought was interesting. It said, if 4 out of 5 people suffer from diarrhea, does that mean that one must enjoy it?
Oh my God.
Sorry about that, lads.
That was a little bathroom humor, which we don't always.
A little bathroom humor, yes.
I was wondering where that was going. Okay.
Yeah, I was a bit worried about that myself, Ed.
All right, Michael.
Have you done anniversaries yet?
No, I guess we can go right into it.
Did you intend to do them?
No comment.
And I sent you that note about blue because there are at least 4 guys wearing blue today. I thought it'd be an easy way to collect some money. Yes, Jonah and I will have been married 54 years tomorrow.
Congratulations.
Mazel tov.
Congratulations. Happy anniversary.
Fabulous.
Starter wife.
Fabulous. Congratulations,
Wonderful.
Mike
Thank
and
you.
Joan. That's wonderful news. Wonderful.
Congrats.
Did anyone hear him say it's his starter wife?
I did.
I did say that.
That was very naughty, but
Well,
funny.
she introduces me as her first husband. So.
Yes, okay. All right. That's a good.
I had a friend who once said there's 2 types of people, divorced and pre-divorced. So we'll just,
I met a woman in Tanzania who she was this older British lady with her husband, and she had this beautiful blue stone on. And I sat across from her at lunch and I said, that's a beautiful stone. Is that Tanzanite? Because here we are in Tanzania, right? And she goes, no. This there's a really good story about this stone. I was living in Saudi Arabia with my husband, and she sort of flipped her hand at the husband who was seated next to me and said, not that one, a different one. And he looked at me and goes, yeah, I wasn't the first. He looked at me. I just thought that was the funniest way to refer to your husband. Not that one, a different one. Not even. Yeah. Anyway, this was pretty good. I think that's a good line.
okay. Connie, you have your hand up. Or did you just not mean to take it down?
I think she left it up.
Okay.
Yep.
All
Yeah,
right.
I forgot to take it down. I'll do that.
Dave has his hand up.
Yeah,
Oh, there. Okay.
I wasn't here last week, but last week was my wedding anniversary too, with my wife of my first wife of 43 years.
Aw, congrats, Dave.
Yeah. So
Congratulations, Dave.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
All right. That'll do for today.
Great.
And
Did Jennifer? I think Jennifer had her
Jennifer,
hand up, but she's on mute.
Mute. Am I muted now?
You're
You're
good
good.
now.
You're good.
Okay, so Saturday, on Saturday, I was married for 2 months. So that was my 2-month anniversary on last
Aw.
Saturday.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Yeah. Awesome. That's exciting. And Jennifer Reed has now added her fascinator for us.
I did.
Oh,
I
yay.
did. Yes,
Colored fascinator to go with her peach blouse.
that's right. I have to
So-
pack it. I have it everything laid out for packing because we're leaving Friday. So it was conveniently located.
Very nice.
Awesome.
Good. Well, with that, let's go ahead and see who our guest is. Can I give it to you, Susie? Can I give you the mic?
I'm happy to take it. Yes. Jennifer Cleveland is our guest to speak today about living with blindness. I heard her speak a few years ago at the Indy Atlantic Rotary Club, and then I saw her at another event I think it was last October, and remembered then that I wanted to have her speak to us. So I have finally eventually gotten my life act together and reached out to her. So Jennifer grew up in Georgia, sharing time between Athens, where her mother was a professor at the University of Georgia, and her father's farm in South Georgia, where he was a director of agriculture. Her first career was as a personal trainer until 2004, when she became a paramedic and worked in a level 2 trauma center. After becoming legally blind in 2009, Jennifer had to redefine her life and learn to live again as a visually impaired person. With a lot of support and hard work, she started a new career as a yoga teacher, Thai yoga massage practitioner, and licensed massage therapist. Jennifer is also an inspirational education speaker and has spoken to many different organizations, including being a keynote speaker at NASA. So let's give Jennifer a warm welcome.
Thank you. Thank y'all for having me. I don't know how to get the screen to flip, whatever. I hope y'all can see me okay. I hope it's good.
We can see you fine. Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, awesome. There we go. Now I can see myself. Okay. Well, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here with y'all, even virtually. It's very cool. So yeah, my story about how I ended up here, even just here talking to you all. Like she said, I grew up kind of between the 2 households. My parents got divorced when I was 19 months old. My mother moved to Athens and became a professor at UGA. And then my dad, of course, stayed on the farm in South Georgia. And so I grew up back and forth between these 2 very different childhoods, which basically taught me everything that I needed to know. I learned how to drive when I was 8 years old. I could shoot, hunt. I had horses, We, you know, grew our own food, everything. And then, you know, the college town, everything there is with a college town, the great food, the incredible minds, you know, those two lives gave me a great foundation and taught me what success looks like, basically. So sorry, my throat, my allergies have been pretty bad. So sorry if I'm coughing or anything like that. It's my allergies. But I went to nursing school, and while I was in nursing school, I got bucked off my horse and I shattered my leg. So I couldn't walk for 9 months. And that was very challenging for me. That was a struggle as a young woman. Basically, well, I had to drop out of school, and the majority of my friends just disappeared. They just abandoned me, and except for one who is still with me today. But most of them just said, you know, hey, when you're better, call me. We'll get together and go out. So it was kind of hard as a young woman to go through something like that. And so I didn't really grow from that experience. I just kind of survived it. So after I was able to walk again, I wanted to get stronger again, get healthier again. So I started going to the gym, and that began my career as a personal trainer. And I was a personal trainer and gym manager for about 10 years. And eventually Mom, she got a job as the dean, or actually she started the program, the social work program at Valdosta State University, and was the dean. And she moved to Valdosta. I didn't want to move to Valdosta. And my brother really he lived in Melbourne, and he really liked it down here. So I didn't want to go anywhere by myself. So I came down to Melbourne, and I continued working as a personal trainer, and I really enjoyed it down here. But the personal training career was not as good as it was in Georgia. I just wasn't as successful. So I went back to school and I wish I could talk today. I haven't given a speech in like a year, but I went back to school and became a paramedic. And I worked on an ambulance for, a while. I didn't like it. My dream job was to work at Holmes Regional in the trauma center. And I finally got that job, and everything changed. It was so interesting, so unique. I mean, they make, television shows about my life, emergency departments. I saw things that you could never imagine. And a lot of stuff, just as soon as I thought I saw it all, something else came through the door. It was crazy. But I met my future husband there, and I created, this new life. I had a nice tribe of friends. I created this life that I thought, this is what success is. This is what life's supposed to be about. And that's what I thought I had made for myself. But then everything changed in 2009 when I became legally blind from celiac disease. So the celiac is the autoimmune reaction to gluten, and it attacked my retinas, and it blinded me. I'm almost totally blind in my left eye, and I have some vision in my right eye. So I see about 2300. So it's like looking through sunglasses with Vaseline smeared on the sunglasses. And, that's in good lighting, and bad lighting, it's even worse than that. So I lost everything. I lost my job. I lost my driver's license. I lost my freedom, my independence. And again, the majority of my friends abandoned me. So I went for about a year with no services. I didn't know there were any services in the area. And that year was horrible. I mean, I was the only visually impaired person I knew. So it was full of all the 5 stages of grief, all of them. Until my mom found the Brevard Association for the Advancement of the Blind, BAB, and the Center for the Visually Impaired, CVI. And I started taking classes at the Brevard Association for the Advancement of the Blind. And that is when I found other people who were just like me. Everything that I was going through, they were going through. Every experience I was having, they were having, including the majority of the people in their life abandoning them. So I started to feel like I was at home, like I was understood. I started to feel grounded and anchored. And then after I finished my classes with BAB, I started doing in-home training with a teacher from the Center for the Visually Impaired. So Karen came out to my house, and she taught me independent living. And so what independent living is she helped me organize my closet. you know, how to organize the colors and things that go together, how to organize my kitchen, how to cook safely, how to, you know, just anything in the house, kind of organize it in a way that's effective for a visually impaired person, label things like that. She also taught me orientation mobility, which is using a white cane. So I learned how to maneuver with a white cane, which is something that I never, ever planned on doing, ever thought that I would ever have to do. And then she also taught me technology. So I learned how to use my computer, and I got an iPhone, and I learned how to use the iPhone. So the playing field was leveled because technology is the equalizer for the visually impaired. So I could communicate again, you know, with all the different apps. I could travel, things like that. So I started to think to myself, you know what, I can do this. I can do this. And I was also going through some pretty deep spiritual discovery at this time. Now, I grew up Christian. My stepfather was an Episcopalian priest. I loved the Christian belief system. It fulfilled me up until then, and then it didn't anymore. It didn't give me the answers or the guidance that I needed. So I needed something else. And I had always been drawn to Buddhism. And of course, the universe presented me with a Buddhist. So I was Buddhist for about 2 years, and it gave me the answers and the support and the guidance that I needed. And I was also doing spiritual development classes with Sherry at Aquarian Dreams. Let me have a little tea. Sherry was teaching me about my gifts, about what God had given me, about what I'm capable of, what I'm made of, helping me to discover who I really am. So everything was coming together. Everything was coming together. It was making sense. And I was like, all right, I can do this. I can handle this life. I can do it. And I wanted more. And I wanted to go back to work again. But what would work look like as a visually impaired person? I couldn't be a paramedic. That's not possible. And I had no desire to be a personal trainer. So I reached out to Sherry and I said, you know, what do you think I should do? And she said, Jennifer, you're supposed to be a yoga teacher. And I said, that's crazy because I've only taken 7 yoga classes in my entire life. And she said, Jennifer, you're supposed to be a yoga teacher. So I went back home. Next time Karen came out for my class, I told her and she said, yeah, absolutely. You can be a yoga teacher. So we found the best yoga teacher training in town and signed me up. And this is when I met my first big obstacle. The books. None of the books that I needed for school were on audio. So I called the Library of Congress, who they're supposed to put everything on audio or in an accessible format for disabled people. And I told them I'm starting class in 3 months and I need these books on audio. They replied back to me and said, no, that a blind person should not be doing yoga, that it's too dangerous, and they refused to record my books. So they made the decision for me what they thought I should and shouldn't be doing and what I'm capable of doing. And unfortunately, this would be a pattern through my life as a visually impaired person. And by the way, you cannot sue a federal entity for discrimination. I tried, I called the ADA, and you can't do it. So, you know, nevertheless, I moved forward. I went to school. I struggled. It was not easy. I didn't learn everything that other people learned. I looked up a lot of stuff on Google, but I did it. But halfway through school, I got the call. And this is the part I never get through.
Oh, we're all going to join you, Jennifer.
I should have told you to have tissues ready. I never make it. I never make it. Pilot Dog in Columbus, Ohio had identified a match for me. They had a guide dog for me. So I got on a plane 2 weeks later and I flew to Columbus, Ohio. And I met my new set of eyes, a blue standard poodle named Frank. And from that day forward, nothing would ever be the same. So I stayed for 28 days and I learned how to work with him. I learned how to be guided by him. I learned how to command him. We learned how to live together and how to work together, all the whole time with my trainer behind me yelling, "Trust your dog, trust your dog." And again, something I never, ever, ever thought that I would have done, that I was never going to be the blind lady with a guide dog. Never. But we graduated and we came home and we went back to yoga teacher training. And in January of 2012, both of us graduated from yoga teacher training and I became a yoga teacher. Now everything was together. I had my guide dog, my poodle. I had my new spark in life that was given back to me through my spiritual practice. I had my skills that I learned through all my training, and I had work. I had a career. And when I lost my vision, my new husband decided that he didn't really want to be married to a visually impaired woman. And so he started doing everything that bad husbands do. So once I had everything together, I decided I was sick and tired of that life. And I left my husband and I found a little apartment in downtown Melbourne on the bus route in walking distance to everything. So I had freedom, I had independence, I had my new career, I had my poodle, and I had a peaceful and happy home. But of course, I did want more. I went back and did a 5-year training for Thai yoga massage. I graduated from that in December of 14. And then I did licensed massage therapy and I graduated in February of 2020, right before COVID.
Oh no.
I know, right? And then of course, I also wanted to give back to these organizations that had given me, my life back, basically. And so I reached out to the Center for the Visually Impaired and I said, what can I do? How can I help? And they said, well, we need fundraising. We need raising of awareness. I didn't want anyone to go through another year like I went through. There's no reason to go through that year of suffering when those organizations are out there to help. So I started doing awareness programs around Brevard County, speaking with organizations, meeting with organizations, putting on fundraisers. And they asked me to be the keynote speaker at their signature event, Dining in the Dark in Daytona. So I'd never given a speech before. And this was over 300 people in pitch black darkness. So the room is pitch black. You're led in by police officers wearing night vision goggles. And then you have to figure out what your food is, where your food is, and eat it in the dark. That was my very first speech. And then the rest is history. So what's my lesson in all of this? My lesson was that, you can have the best laid plans. You can create that life that you think is successful. You can build it around everything that you think you need and you think you want. And then God's going to look down at you and just go, aren't you cute? Guess what? Guess what? I have a life that I have designed specifically for your gifts. A life that you never could have dreamed for yourself. And to step into that life, everything has to fall apart. Everything that I created, everything that I built up, everything that I designed had to slip right through my fingers and disappear. And then I had to make a choice. Was I going to hold on to that life? Was I going to try to stay there in grief and in anger and in loss for everything that had fallen apart? Or was I going to move forward and step into this new existence? Was I going to, grab it with both hands and embrace it and drink from its nectar? Was I going to live it? And I hope you all can tell which choice I made. And, from listening to my story, I hope that, maybe if you've got something in your life and you're just, you're just holding on to that last little thread of hope, maybe by hearing my story, you'll just let it go. Just let it go. Release it, and then move forward into that new existence that is designed for you. And just let all the rest of that go, because I promise you it will be worth it. It will. So thank y'all for listening. And I appreciate y'all having me here, and I am open for questions.
Wow, thank you, Jennifer. That was enlightening as always.
Thank you.
I remember one of the things you mentioned when you were you spoke to the previous club I was in, was about how to approach a person who's visually impaired, and a few little tips like that about how, when we are interacting with someone who's got that sort of impairment, how to approach, how to help.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a very good question. I appreciate it. So little allergies here. So so basically I can't recognize who you are when you come to me. So if it's in daylight, I can see you, but I can't tell who you are. If it's at nighttime, I can't even see you. So it's hard for me to tell who's talking to me, or if you're even talking to me. So it's helpful when you come forward, if you, if you say, hey, Jennifer, it's Susie, or even give me, because I know a few Susies, give me a bunch, like give me more details from the Rotary Club. You spoke at our event. That's fantastic. And I'm like, yes, okay, I know exactly who you are. Because otherwise you're going to say it's Susie, and I'm going to go, oh, great, Susie. And I won't know who you are. So tell me. And then that's one way to do it. And then also, it is helpful to touch the person so they know you're talking to them. And the safest, least invasive way to touch someone is the upper arm. So between the shoulder and the elbow, you don't necessarily have to grab, but you can take the back of your hand and put it against the upper arm like that. And if you just put it against the upper arm and then speak to the person, they'll know that you're talking directly to them. You want to be careful about grabbing, because people do, it's obviously you don't want to be grabbed. So, and people do that a lot to visually impaired people. They grab us and they pull us and move us. So don't do that unless it's an emergency. But, just a light touch is good. And then I know you're talking to me. Mm-hmm. And then, basically just like, especially if we're speaking in a group, if you're speaking directly to the person, it's helpful to call their name, because I was talking in a group, Friday night. We were all out at the Melby on the rooftop, and it was pitch black to me. Everybody was talking, and then somebody kept saying something, and they're like, Jennifer. And I'm like, what? Oh, were you talking to me? I had no idea, So, saying, hey, Jennifer, what do you think? Or whatever, just call the person's name so that they know that you're talking to them. And then, the other thing that's really important is to not make a big deal about anything. Like, people tend to make just this huge scene and this big deal, and everything's just a scene. I tell people to treat me like a short person, you just have to help them get some stuff off the top shelf sometimes. But other than that, there's nothing to it. So just kind of act like complete normal. Every once in a while, though, you're going to have to help me to see things. And that's it.
And the dog, I know we're not supposed to treat the dog as a pet.
Right.
So that's just a good reminder to people, I think.
Do not ever, there he is. There's my boy. Don't ever touch him. Don't talk to him. And don't let your dog approach him, because he's working. He's focusing on keeping both of us safe, but mostly keeping me safe. So if he gets distracted in any way, he might miss something. And then my safety and my life is in danger. So especially keep your dogs pulled back and away. And other than that, just act like he doesn't even exist, or like he's a wheelchair. He's technically, under the law, a medical device. So just treat him like he's a medical device.
It's a beautiful dog.
Thank you.
Michael Holliday has a hand up, sir.
Michael Holliday from Columbus. So is Cleveland your maiden name?
Yes.
I married a Cleveland.
Oh, really? From where?
Zanesville, Ohio.
Oh my gosh. I wonder. Most of my family are in Georgia and Alabama-ish.
And Susie stole my thunder. I was going to ask you, how do you keep from treating your animal as a pet?
So
And
now I can treat him as a pet. He's my boy. There's just a couple things that he can't do. He's not allowed to play with balls, because anything that you can be out in the public with, like, there's a chance that a ball might go bouncing by, because there's children playing with balls. So he can't play with balls because we can't be walking down the street and here comes the ball bouncing by. So he can't do that. He has a duck that he plays with that he loves. He plays with a rope. He chews nyla bones. He's a dog at home. He's a dog.
how old is
And
he?
he is 12 and a half. So he's
Wow.
ready for retirement. And I am on the waiting list for 3 different schools, including Pilot Dog, to get his replacement. But he's
And-
ready. He's ready to retire.
Lastly, you didn't mention Braille at all. Do you read Braille?
I do not read Braille. I started to learn Braille when I was going to BAB, but it was also new for me when I was going to BAB. It was really overwhelming, and it was just too much. So I didn't learn it, and I never went back and learned it. And for me, because I have enough functional vision in my right eye, like if I go to a restaurant, usually I can just take a picture of the menu with my phone, and then I can read it with the accessibility devices on my phone. Or if I'm going somewhere before, I usually look it up on my iPad and pick out what I want. But I could also, so Apple has all the accessibility devices you need built into their systems. So I could just go online, pull up their menu, and then have the menu read to me. So those are those options. I did know a little Braille, enough to read the numbers in the elevator, but it's just kind of gone away. But technically, what they say is if a visually impaired child or person does not learn Braille, that they are considered illiterate because they can't read. So that's just a fun fact. So.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was Facebook messaging with Jennifer this morning because I couldn't find the photo she sent me. And so is that your application reading to you? Does it?
No. So what I do on Facebook, well, on my iPad, I can see basically everything because everything's really big. I have everything zoomed and I flip the color. So I see really good with a black background and white writing. So I flip everything. So my background is black and then the words are all white, and then it's really big font. So I can see that just fine. And if I can't, I just zoom it in and then I read it real quick. Now, if I am going to read an article or something like that, then I turn on my my speech reader and I have it read it to me, because that's just too much for my eyes to translate.
Okay. Can you see the hands that are up on the screen?
No.
Okay, so I'll keep doing that then. Ailish has her hand up.
Yeah, I'm. I mean, that's terribly inspirational. I mean, really, just an amazing talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm particularly interested in when you said how you became blind because you were celiac.
Yes.
I'm celiac. I was just diagnosed with being celiac probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and I didn't know until then. How does being celiac affect one's sight, and is that attributable to everyone that's celiac, or is it just a few, or do you have to have some kind of, the genetic sort of disposition as opposed to dispensation
Right.
towards it?
So for those of y'all who don't know what celiac disease is, it's the autoimmune reaction to gluten, and it's a blood-borne autoimmune disease. So what happens is when we eat gluten, it immediately goes into our bloodstream, and then our body doesn't like it, and then our body starts attacking it. Well, the problem is that it can't find the problem because it's diluted through the bloodstream. So it picks something to attack. And first thing it does generally is attack the digestive system, because that's where it's kind of figuring out where everything's coming from. It knows it's in that area. So it starts attacking the digestive system, and it breaks down the digestive system. And a lot of us with celiacs have malabsorption issues. So I take a whole lot of vitamins. If I don't take my vitamins, I feel terrible. And then celiacs will attack other systems. So it can attack the pancreas. Some people who've been diagnosed with diabetes, they find out later that they have celiac disease. They stop eating gluten and suddenly they're no longer diabetic. It attacks the nervous system. A a lot of people who have been diagnosed with bipolar or schizophrenia get diagnosed with celiac. They stop eating gluten, and suddenly their symptoms go away. It tends to mostly attack connective tissue, skin, and joints. So people with arthritis, skin rashes. There's these little, this one little rash. It's like the hair follicle gets inflamed, and it makes those little red dots all over your body or in an area. That's a pretty common celiac issue, but arthritis is a really big one. But the retinas are the most vascular part of the body. So any bloodborne disease or anything can manifest in the retinas. That's why diabetics very often have retinitis. What is it? It attacks the retinas. What's that? I can't remember the one that they have, but it attacks their retinas and causes them to go blind. So the celiac, the particles can get caught apparently in the retina is what my doctors are telling me. And then the body just starts attacking my retinas. And that's what it did for me. But celiac attacks everybody differently. So I call it the disease that kills you very, very slowly, one piece at a time. So what it's doing is just breaking down your system, just breaking it down one little bit at a time over years. And eventually it breaks you down so much that everything starts to fall apart and you can't digest food anymore. And that's what it does to you. So the answer is everybody's different. It attacks every person differently, and there's no real way to predict that. But and I think you did mention, is it genetic? It is a genetic disease that they say that you have the gene, and some people it unlocks when they're children. Some people it unlocks when you have a traumatic event. So I tell everybody, like, you don't know if you have the gene. So if you're going through a stressful or traumatic time, don't eat gluten. Just don't eat it, and so that way you're not eating it and you're not going to trigger the gene. And then just wait till your life calms down until you feel more calm, and then start eating gluten again. Just so you don't risk it, because it's a lot easier to deal with these days, but it's always easier if you can just walk into a restaurant and eat whatever you want. But it's not the worst disease in the world to have, because all you have to do is just not eat gluten. There's many, many, many diseases that are much worse than that. So I hope that answered the question.
Oh, that's a lot to know. You spent a long time studying, I'm sure.
Very interesting. So I didn't know hardly any of that. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was very informative. I actually got a cookbook called Against All Grain that was written by a woman with celiac disease. And this cookbook changed her life. So I have it in the kitchen, but I don't have the name of it, but it's on Amazon, and it's called Against All Grain, and it's a phenomenal cookbook. And I had a lot of digestive issues, and just cutting back on the gluten helped me, just feel a lot better. And the recipes in there are phenomenal. Even if you don't have celiac disease, it's just really helpful. And by the way, I don't know if you know this, Jennifer, but your camera follows you when you move.
I did not. I discovered that halfway through.
Yeah, it follows you. So that's great.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But thank you so much.
Ed left has his hand up for a while. Ed?
Yeah, you mentioned that your dog is ready to retire. So does your dog stay with you when he retires? And
yes, so he does. He will stay with me because I am able to keep him. So if you had a person who was not able to keep the dog for whatever reason, like maybe they couldn't afford to keep 2 dogs, or maybe in public housing, you can't have a dog unless it's a service dog. And once the dog retires, it's no longer a service dog. So in public housing, you have to give up your dog. So I have options. I could give him back to Pilot Dog, and they would rehome him until he crossed over. Or I could just give him to someone else, but I'm not going to do that. I have the ability to keep him, and I would never give him away.
Yeah, that's always been sort of heartbreaking to hear about someone having to give up their dog. And I know there's a long list of people who want to adopt those dogs because they're so well trained, and to give them a good home at the end. Edward, did you have? What were you going to say?
No, I just it was sort of the heartbreak and the trauma that I was really kind of wondering about. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. So
yes.
Sam has a question.
I do. I was going to ask, do you have a blog or something that we can look at for resources. My mom has, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's Mactel, I think type 2. And so she's slowly losing her vision, and it's obviously it's quite troubling for her. And the problem is she's kind of become a, recluse. She wants to stay at home. She doesn't want to go out. She doesn't want to do anything. I think it's harder and harder and harder for her. But do you have
Is she in the area? Is she in Brevard County?
No, she's in Louisiana, actually.
So I don't, but what I would do is call like the Lions Club in her area and see what there is. There's probably Division of Blind Services in her area. I think that's nationwide, that Division of Blind Services is in every state. But I would also just Google resources for the visually impaired in her county and see if anything pops up. But the Lions Club usually can point you in the right direction to organizations and the Division of Blind Services. But it's important for her to start really soon before she loses more vision, to help her build confidence. Because once you start losing the vision more and more, the learning curve is so big, and it just gets debilitating.
And then Susie, if I may, I was going to ask, kind of answer your question on the backside there. There is an upcoming event. I don't know if you want to just tell us briefly about that. Jennifer, we have your flyer. I was going to drop it on the Facebook, just referencing links to how to get a hold of you and more information about you. But if you want to share, by all means, please do.
Awesome. Thank you. So what I do now, I'm a yoga teacher. I teach at Bliss Fitness Studio, where this event is. And I also do private yoga in my home. And I was teaching in the park. I started teaching in the park when COVID hit, because I was teaching in a bunch of different studios. And so I just moved all my classes out to the park, and I continued because a lot of people kept coming. But then it's gotten to where it's too hot, it's too buggy, and the classes were really small. So I just moved into my living room recently. But I teach, yoga, of course, and then I do Thai yoga massage, and I'm a licensed massage therapist. I do deep tissue, prenatal, myofascial, Swedish, and this class that you have up there, that is for me to teach you how to do a basic Thai yoga massage on your partner. So you can bring your friend, you can bring, your sweetheart, you can bring your mom, you can bring anybody. It's not a romantic thing. I do a romantic couples yoga every Valentine's Day with Thai massage, but this is just, let's learn how to do some good hands-on healing. And I'm going to teach you how to do basic Thai yoga massage moves so that you can have a basic series to go through at home with your partner or on anybody that you want to do a Thai massage on. So that's on Sunday, the 28th, I believe.
Yep. At 10.
It's at 10 in the morning. It's a 2-hour class. And you would need to pre-register through MindBody which is the app MindBody at Bliss Fitness Studio, or you can call Bliss. You can call Bliss or stop by. They're in downtown, right across from Matt's Casbah, really right across from the ambulatory clinic next to Matt's Casbah. Mm-hmm. And and it's a great, I just love teaching this class. I love teaching Thai massage to people. I have quite a few like couples that they just want to have a private yoga and learn Thai massage, and they come to my studio and I teach them how to do it on each other. It's just a lot of fun, and I enjoy it.
Mm. And Michael Holiday has a hand up. Oh, sorry, Sam. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to tell you, Jennifer, we have a YouTube channel, and we just started this with kind of the new year. And so we'll be, if it's okay with you, we'll be taking this recording and we will post it to our YouTube channel. So for all of our members and anybody else, feel free to go. I'll share the link one more time, but feel free to go to our page, our channel, it's called in YouTube. You can just hit follow or subscribe, and you'll see all the new videos that come out. So just trying to get the word out about that, and you can see anything you might have missed from our presentation today. But back to you, Susie, sorry.
Cool. And Jennifer, I'll include you, I'll email you the newsletter, because we always do a couple of paragraph write-up about the presentation, but it also has a link in it to take you to that YouTube channel so you can share it with your mom.
Excellent. Thank you. She would love that.
Yeah. And Michael, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I know we're at the end of our hour. How have you dealt with the loss of mobility? I know you're close to a bus stop, but to not be able to just drive wherever you want, has that been one of the two toughest things you've had to deal with?
Yeah, that's probably the hardest. You know, I'm basically at everyone else's mercy, pretty much. To take a bus somewhere, even, you know, even our best routes run every 30 minutes. So, and then they run a big loop. So if I take the 21, you know, I have to catch it. It's every 30 minutes. And then, so a 10-minute, my grocery store is less than a mile from me. A 10-minute drive up to the grocery store, grab a few things and come back is, you know, minimum 30 minutes to an hour, depending on if the bus runs late or early or anything like that. It restricts my ability to be able to basically just take part in the community, to do, you know, to take jobs, to just get places and do things. You know, if I wanted to get to Vieira and go shopping, I would have to take 3 buses and it would take 3 hours to get to Vieira one way.
Mhm.
So Jennifer, isn't it about time you joined a Rotary Club?
Yeah, well, you know what, I was thinking about stuff. I'm like, you know, well, what I'm doing now, see, I'm like, what am I volunteering now? And so I'm on so speaking of transportation, I'm on the Transportation Disadvantage Board for Space Coast Area Transit, and we meet quarterly and we oversee the organization, you know, care and services for the vulnerables, for the elderly, the disabled, you know, vulnerable population. And so we're working on trying to fix a lot of the problems that they have. We have the paratransit that goes from door to door, but it's like a 30-minute window. You know, like say you got to be at the doctor at 8:30 in the morning. They may pick you up at anywhere from 7:45 to 7:15, and then you have to stay for an hour, and they may not come get you for another hour, and then you got to ride the bus for God knows how long until you get back home. So to have that, to have a normal life, it's almost impossible. I mean,
we're just the club you need because we're Zoom.
Right. I know. Right. And so I was thinking about that, you know, it's like, what am I doing volunteer wise, you know? And I'm like, well, I'm doing that. I'm doing the Transportation Disadvantage. And then I was like, and then I started thinking back and forth about the Lions and the Rotary. And I was like, I should do something, you know? So yeah, I mean, are y'all always on Zoom?
Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
Yeah. And we would meet at Tuesday at noon every week. And it's the same, you know, it's a small, intimate group. And I think we're fun. And yeah, we'd love to have you consider it. If you want, just join us next week and the week after,
Nice.
see how it goes. And if you feel like it's a worthwhile investment of your time. So because we're scattered, we don't do a lot of projects locally. So, I mean, we will do social events, which, you know, we can get you to. And your husband, of course, would be more than welcome. So yeah, I'd love for you to consider that.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Sam, I'm going to hand the controls back to you, Mr. President.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Just one more round of applause for you. Really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for educating us, for giving us some new perspectives. And we hope to see you again soon, maybe in October, maybe in other capacity, right? Maybe even in person, who knows?
Yes, that'd be great. Thank you.
Well, with that, let's go ahead and close up our meeting just with our Rotary motto, I guess, service above self. Have a wonderful afternoon, everybody.
All right, starting off. Thanks. I'll email you Denise's contact for the October meeting. All right, everyone. Thank you. All right, bye-bye. Thanks again, Jennifer. Bye, everyone. I'm going to drop off.
Sam, when's the board meeting?
September 1st, noon. I just sent you a calendar invitation from Google, and I also sent it out through DACDB. And what else? Any other way to do it? Okay.
I'll put it in the newsletter too.
And in the newsletter. There we go.
Okay. All right, everyone. Thanks.
Bye.
Talk to you soon.
Take
Thanks.
care.
Bye, Roy.
Bye.
Hi, Roy.